Hello, welcome to Country Sports TV. What are we going to talk about today? I got so much on my mind that I haven't said over the last 6 months. They're not really been anything different than I've already said. I got people asking me, when's the lead ban going to happen? Hopefully, in my humble opinion, not at all. We do not want a lead ban. Basic principle is lead is not and shouldn't be banned. Steel isn't as good as lead. That's the basic principle. I've never said you can't use steel. I've just said that it's not as good as lead. In my opinion, it tends to lead to more wounded birds. You've got to shoot stuff a lot closer. If you shoot at any distance, you get blown patterns. Now, when I'm talking about steel shot, I'm not talking about wildfowling. I'm talking about standard steel shot cartridges. They're just not good enough to shoot animals cleanly. They will, if you're close. I went out pigeon shooting and I got a falconer that wants steel shot pigeons off me. And I set the decoys out and I had the wind right behind my back. So I had the birds coming straight in at me. All I had to do is put the bead on the bird and pull the trigger. And I wanted a bird for the floater. So the first couple I shot with lead. Got them into the killing area, bang, down dead, no problems. Put it on the floater, put the floater out as if it's coming round and coming into the pattern. Worked a treat. I shot 20 pigeons, no problem at all. It took me about 3 hours. I did not kill one bird out of that 20 with steel shot. Just didn't kill them. I wounded every single one of them. Yeah, I put them on the ground and I put them in the killing area. But I had to go out and dispatch every single one of them. They told me all I got to do is go up 2 sizes. So instead of using number 6 or 7s like I normally do, I thought, well, if I use 6, I've now got to use 4s. So I had number 4s in standard steel shot cartridges. I was using AYA Yeoman that I've always used. The chokes on it are 1/4 and just under half. And I just couldn't believe it. Now, if we're going to have more wounded birds, what will happen if they ban lead? Well, people will use steel. The animal rights people that are against shooting will say, look at your wounding rate. It's gone up now. They tried it with pheasant shooting. Must be 20, 30 years ago. And Basque brought in a respect of game campaign. And the idea was to get people to shoot birds closer to get clean kills. Now, I believe, I can't prove it, but I believe that this was done because the high pheasant shoots, you would never use steel. On the high pheasant shoots down in Exmoor now, when the ones that are using steel, they've got to use wildfowling guns. And they're using high performance steel in ones to shoot pheasants. Well, you've got to be fit, strong, You know, how are you going to fire 250 magnum loads in a day? You know, a wildfowler will go out with a pocket full of half a dozen cartridges. Even, you know, the good wildfowlers in a good place will take a box with them of 25. On a game shoot, how much are you taking? 250? You've got a box of 50 in a bag on the side, and you've got spare. And that might be, you know, you might not use the cartridges. But if you're in a good spot and you're on a big bird day, you know, you could easily get through 100, 150 cartridges. Not going to say you're going to shoot 150 birds. Ratio on a game shoot is round about 4 to 1 for me. Pigeon shooting is 2 to 1. I'm better at that. Now, I think that we've got to use, the shooting organisations ought to wake up. They ought to say, now look, how can we defend shooting? How can we still use lead shot? The answer is ever so simple. The government set up the lead ammunition group. The lead ammunition group looked at the lead issue and lead ammunition for 6 years. 6 years they did it. They had a split committee and they came out with 2 reports. Because there was no consensus, the government could not ban lead shot. Full stop. That was it. We'd won the day. So all the shooting organisations have got to do is use that to defend lead. The government has already rejected the lead ammunition group report by John Swift because he had not proven his case. Nothing has changed. The science hasn't changed. Norway done a test and they tested the blood levels of people and they found that the blood levels in people that ate lead shot game was lower than the people in the cities that didn't eat lead shot game. This led them to repeal the lead ban for game shooting. They did some more tests. And because of that, they said the case wasn't proven, there's no scientific proof to ban lead, and they repealed the lead ban for wildfowling. Why can't we do that here? I've said this in other videos before, but the situation hasn't changed. It hasn't changed at all. We need somebody to stand up, just say no. I worked for the civil service for 6 years. Gun trade in the 80s when we went through the slump, the recession was a bit slow. I wasn't earning enough money, I had to pay the mortgage. I ended up doing 6 years in the civil service. And 1,900 people in a civil service block in Bristol, I was the only one with a shotgun certificate. I was working on the floor for the planning appeals. And down below me, on floor 8 and 9, was the wildlife section. And they used to ask me for my advice as a shooter. And every so often they would ring up and say, Ian, could you, when you have your cup of tea, could you come down and say hello, we'd like to have a chat. So we either meet in the canteen or I would go to the tea point, get me mug of tea and go and sit down and have a chat. I'd go down to the office and I was talking to a grade 7, which is higher middle management in the civil service, and it was the manager of the biodiversity section in the wildlife section in the DEFRA, as it was called then. She asked me a question, a simple little question. Why are Basque not fighting your corner? I didn't have an answer. I said, I don't know. And she showed me a letter from a Dr. Harrodine. In the letter, he agreed with the WWT and RSPB that lead should be banned. He said the problem we've got is trying to persuade our members to give up lead. And this is what's happening to us now. They've managed to ban it for wildfowling. Now they're working on us. And they're trying to persuade us to give up lead. We have just got to say no. But anyway, so the civil servant asked me, we have not got the scientific proof to ban lead. Yes, the civil service knew that there wasn't the scientific proof to ban lead. The lead ammunition group came out with a report and the government rejected it because they hadn't proven their case. Now all the shooting organisations, like the civil servant told me, have got to say no. I passed that information back to Basque, the mill. I saw Basque at the shows. I was on the Basque stand at many shows. I did it for 40 years. I said to him, if you just say no, there will not be a lead ban. And that was in 1998, before the wildfowling ban. What happened? Basque brought in a voluntary ban for a year. After the year, Basque agreed to it. The WWT and RSPB asked for it. The government had no other option but the minister to sign the statutory instrument to ban lead shot for wildfowling. Now, the principle has been set already that to ban lead ammunition for all disciplines of shooting, target shooting, air rifles, deer stalking and shotgun, an Act of Parliament should go through. A private member's bill was set up at the beginning of the year. It passed its first reading. What private members' bill do. Now, the government aren't going to give it any time because they've already rejected a lead ban. They've already done the 6-year study through the lead ammunition group. So all we've got to do, as I keep saying, is say no. And what we want our shooting organisations to say if there's going to be a lead ban, we want an Act of Parliament. And like the civil servants have told me, we haven't got the scientific proof to put it through Parliament. They had an Act of Parliament to ban hunting. Look how many hours that took. If we're going to defend shooting, we've got to do the same. We've got to ask for an Act of Parliament to ban lead. I don't want a lead ban. I think lead's still the most sensible thing to use. Anyway, that's my saying. Oh, by the way, this private member's bill was squashed, thrown out, when we had the Queen's speech that was read out by Charles before he became king. They've now got to put that private members through back in, so I expect they're trying to find either a member of Parliament or a member of the House of Lords to put the same type of bill through again. The thing is, what worries me is the money that you spend on these shooting organisations. All of them, the top 7, isn't it, that have signed up to a voluntary lead ban, they've already agreed to it. So who's going to fight our corner? We're left on our own. We have to fight on our own. We have hundreds of thousands of shooters. Anyway, Ian, signing off, and let's hope it's a good year. After COVID and everything, we've all been shut down and we're all getting back to shooting and doing things. Anyway, good luck everybody, and I'll try and keep you posted with what's going on.